Most Kenyans did not realize the significance of President William Samoei Ruto missing the funeral of the late legislator Charles Were. Most of us will remember that this came shortly after the shoe throwing incident in Migori. Okay? And it would seem that the president has cut down on his meet the people tours and rallies and addressing people on top of vehicles. And maybe, just maybe, he has decided to spend more time in his office getting some actual work done towards a better Kenya. I don't know, maybe. But it was very telling that he was missing from a funeral in a brand new perceived stronghold, courtesy of Raila Odinga, of Luo Nyanza. Very telling. You know, there's some analysts who are saying that after that shoe throwing incident in Nyanza, the message, the perception that has come out very clearly is that the so-called support for Ruto from Luo Nyanza is actually non-existent. Okay? And the fact that somebody threw a shoe should tell us very clearly that actually this so-called support from Luo Nyanza is nothing more than a mirage. It does not exist. Okay? Maybe the leaders who have been so blessed recently, some of them are buying houses worth 100 million and even more in recent times. Okay? These leaders who have been so blessed, you know, when you have money, you can sing any song. Because the Wazungus told us a long time ago, he who pays the piper, the person who pays, will get the piper to pipe anything they want. And so the way most Kenyans have now taken it is that these are just the leaders talking. On the ground, vitu ziko different. There is actually no support, little or no support for the Ruto regime. Anyway, it would seem that the President Ruto, is now rethinking, re-strategizing on what to do next. For those who have been following him closely, the Charles Were funeral was a must. He would definitely have been there. But he gave it a wide berth. He missed it. That is very telling. It must be very telling, whichever way you want to look at it. By the way, what happened to people like Oscar Sudi? They used to talk a lot. They now seem to be silent. Most of the president's backers used to come out and speak very arrogantly. Now they're very quiet. It would seem that they've left all the work of talking to support the president to the president's aide, who's not even a politician, Farouk Kibet. Farouk Kibet is doing a lot of talking on behalf of Ruto these days. Much more than all the Ruto politicians put together. What is going on? Even as the government continues to limp from crisis to crisis, almost like in party after party. But these parties are not interesting. They're not entertaining. They're just moving from crisis to crisis. I don't know if you're aware that even in Haiti, where we send our cops, our policemen, our security boys, kimeumana kumana. Things are very serious there. Indeed, the situation of having Kenyan policemen maintained there is no longer sustainable. Something will have to give sooner or later. So it is crisis after crisis. And then now there is the Gachagua Manenos, this Gachagua Court of Appeal case. Now some people are saying it is Ruto behind it. Okay, even if it is Ruto behind it, are you seeing the kind of damage it is doing on the Ruto regime? It is doing very serious damage. Because when you have a government and people start making fun of your deputy president, calling him a fake deputy president, not legal in office. Don't you think that is serious? I think it is very serious. Hey, more than serious. Now, as a political analyst, it is also important to step back, leave your emotions out of it, and try to think of a way out for Ruto. Although I know even that thought does not go down well with the vast majority of Kenyans, because they are really suffering under this regime, I understand. But it is still worth asking that question. Is it possible to save the Ruto regime? Because now he has had a handshake with Raila Odinga. They are cooperating. And we can all see the effect of that handshake. It is very close to zero. Let's be honest. It seems it is not having any impact. In fact, now, Raila Odinga's legacy and his politics, they're in the dustbin. Shortly the dustbin of history. That's what it seems. And it would seem that there is nobody else that Ruto can shake hands with. Hold on a minute. There is one more person who Ruto can have a handshake with, and maybe it will steady his government. I'm sure you're curious. But yes, there is one other person whom Ruto can shake hands with, and that politician comes out and tells the world that they're supporting Ruto. And maybe, it's not certain, maybe things can steady for Ruto. Okay? You know what has happened these days? Things are very hot politically, worldwide. The world has become a very small village politically. The man I'm talking about, that Ruto can have a handshake with, and it steadies his government, is a man we all know. He's very well known these days. His name is Ibrahim Traore. No, I'm serious. Ibrahim Traore is a hero to the world. Ibrahim Traore is a major hero even in Kenya. Oh yes. And you see, actually Ibrahim Traore is now a problem to Ruto the way Raila was once a problem to Ruto. I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying. Somebody who fights for his people, somebody who does things for his people, somebody who loves his people with all his heart, and his people know it. Okay? And then contrast that person to the regime we have in Kenya. Now you understand what I'm talking about when I say Bwana Traore, president of Burkina Faso, so far away from Kenya, currently, believe me, is a problem to the Ruto regime. And therefore, if a way could be found for Traore to visit Kenya, shake hands with Ruto, tell him that he supports his regime, maybe, for once, something can shift in the right direction for the Ruto regime. But then you and I know that that is impossible, because that is not the way Bwana Traore is wired. No way! He's not going to soil his image just like that. And in any case, he cannot be purchased with money. The man has maintained his captain's salary, even as he does wonders for the people of Burkina Faso, who are the envy of a vast majority of African countries. You know, this is exactly how a revolution starts. A revolution does not start on the streets. It starts in the minds of the masses. The Kenyan masses are looking far away in another country in Africa, and they're seeing what is happening in Burkina Faso, and they're trying to compare and to contrast with what is happening in their country, even now, because the Ruto regime has stubbornly refused to wake up. It would seem that this regime does not know anything else except how to campaign on top of vehicles, how to tell people about what they're going to do. They don't seem to know how to do anything else. Least of all, do things which will help the masses of Kenya. They don't seem to have an idea. And therefore, this idea that is being planted in the minds of Kenyans, an idea called Ibrahim Traore, is very, very dangerous for the Ruto regime. And unfortunately for you, dear, a handshake with Traore is out of question. But fortunately for Kenyans, it is out of question. Okay? But that is a very deadly development, in my opinion. And it is interesting to see what is happening at State House and the way they're changing, the way they're operating. Yeah? Okay, the Subaru boys are still at work. I talked about that in my previous video. Yeah, in case you missed it, there's a link below this video on YouTube. Yeah, you can catch up with it. So the Subaru boys are still at work. Okay? Bottom line, kumedhuka. I don't see any way out for this regime. Maybe you do. Please share that wonderful idea in the comments area below. I'd like to know. I'm just curious. Because the way I see it, Ruto and his UDA government have been pushed into a corner. And they have no breathing space. And they have nowhere to move. They have run out of options, etc., etc. And now, my prediction is, the end will come quickly. Quicker than anyone ever imagined it would. Now, very quickly before I go, I'm still in wild celebrations. Yeah, 20 years is not a joke. We're celebrating 20 years of the Kumekucha brand. You can see details on your screens right now on how you can participate by sending us a birthday gift. And the advantage is that you stand a chance to win a very valuable golden pass to everything Kumekucha, past, present, and future. So please take advantage of this. We are almost bringing it to a close so that we can reveal the new program for the Kumekucha brand on the next level. Yeah, it's very exciting. Okay, so please take advantage and move fast. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.